This is a new feature here on Zacks.com, one that you'll probably be seeing more of in the months ahead. And what we're going to do with our Chief Equity Strategist, John Blank, at this point, who joins me now, is kind of take a look ahead to the market going into the end of the year, which is not that far away. So one thing that I've noticed, John, is even though it's a headline-driven stock market, investor anxiety seems to be subdued. The VIX is at its lowest point that it's been in a while. Are investors just getting numb to this whole fiscal cliff thing?
I think investors are getting informed to this whole fiscal cliff thing. I think the markets are telling you that the institutions who are religiously involved with Washington and tracking it are telling you that the deal is going to happen. They're not completely compelled to that, or they would see a market at 1470 and above, but they're at the bottom of the range, which is a sanguine and sober assessment that we will most likely get a deal done.
So the market is looking forward to the deal being done.
Right, and it's 90%, 80% convinced it will happen.
Okay.
If it was 100% convinced it will happen, we'd add that additional 5% to the stock market.
Okay. So then you're optimistic about a Santa Claus rally?
I am. I personally am. We got more people in the room here. We would have a lot more pessimism. But according to what Steve Reitmeister put out last week in terms of comments, it's 2-to-1 bullish. I am in that camp. I do see a high this year somewhere north of 1450 at the end of the year.
On the S&P?
On the S&P.
So safe to say that we're going to end 2012 with a solid stock market gain?
Yes. Yes. 12 to 15% annualized over the last year.
Okay. What about the beginning of 2013? Are you as positive going into the new year?
I am. I think what is happening now that is not discussed is the bottom is falling out of sovereign debt yields in Europe. And if that continues, the Spanish 10-year is way, way down, monthly lows, multi-month lows, so is the Italian debt. If the Europeans get their problems fixed, that's the way up, much more so than the fiscal cliff.
Okay. So being as optimistic as you are about the stock market, both going into year's end and a little bit beyond, what do you think investors should be doing right now? How should they be altering their investment plans, maybe not altering them? Any particular advice you could give them?
I think it's time to take your winners and sell them in front of the tax changes that are coming. I'm comfortable with those decisions that I've seen and our people are taking. I think putting some cash aside and waiting for some opportunities is the best view of this market. I think I would wait. I would always wait, and do think people should wait with some cash here, and maybe even into the spring, because this is an event-driven market, and what that means is something's going to happen that nobody thinks is going to happen. We saw that all the time in the last 3 years, and it's always opened up opportunities. And nobody, only in hindsight can people tell you when that's going to hit. But if there is some type of negotiation that doesn't succeed in Europe, for example, or strife that materializes in some part of the world that really concerns people, we could see an opportunity, and I think people should have some cash in their bag to deal with that. And I probably have a little more than most people at this point in time.
Okay, what about looking to foreign stocks?
Foreign stocks are probably going to be the place to be in the next year, really, if these problems are resolved in Europe. And I think sector-wise within the U.S. S&P, the internationally exposed sectors that have been underperforming the last year or two are going to be the places to be. I see that rotation. I believe in that rotation, and I've seen it in my CIO surveys that is the cyclical areas, the internationally exposed areas, are where the value is.
Okay, so I hope that when we talk again in the new year, after we see how this year closes out, the optimism continues. That's a spoken word on investing, a brand new feature here on Zacks.com. The word spoken by John Blank, our Chief Equity Strategist, and we're going to be visiting more with him, as I said, in the months ahead. In the meantime, if you go to Zacks.com, if you're not there already watching this video, check out some other articles that John writes. He gets involved in the conversation on real-time insight, as well as pens some other interesting thoughts in other stories there as well. With John, I'm Terry Ruffalo.